Hi friends, in the previous video we saw about ratio analysis and its purpose, the advantages and limitations of ratio analysis. So the next part of the chapter is classification of ratios and problems based on each of those classifications. So before we go on to that part of the chapter, I want to make sure that every one of you are comfortable and clear about the structure of a balance sheet, because understanding balance sheet and knowing the structure of a balance sheet is very critical for you to solve problems based on ratios. Not just for this chapter, for any chapter in accountancy, structure of a balance sheet is very critical. So friends, please make sure that you have a clear and a complete picture about the components of balance sheet. Now before us we have the structure of a balance sheet. It is a T type of balance sheet. You all very well know that companies do not follow T type of balance sheet anymore. They have a separate format that's given in Companies Act under Schedule 3. So you know that, but for understanding purpose we will try to understand using a T type of balance sheet, and then later on, after we completely understand the balance sheet structure, we will move on to the format of a balance sheet according to Companies Act. So in balance sheet we have two sides. One is the assets side and the other side is the equity and liabilities side. Under equity and liabilities side we have two components. One is equity and the other component is liabilities. Friends, under liability again we have a classification. It is long term liability and then current liabilities. Long term liabilities can also be called as debt, and the other component is current liabilities. So basically under equity and liabilities side we have equity, we have debt, and then we have current liabilities. Okay, so first we will discuss about equity and then we will move on to other components. Under equity, the first thing that we have is equity share capital. So what is equity share capital? You must very well be knowing that equity share capital is the capital that we receive from shareholders, equity shareholders. So that is equity share capital. Next we have preference share capital that we receive from preference shareholders, and then we have reserve and surplus. Under reserve and surplus we have components like general reserve and then statutory reserves, accumulated profits, profit and profit balance, accumulated profit balance, all of that form part of reserve and surplus. And then we have miscellaneous expenses. Miscellaneous expenses are those expenses that have incurred but they are not still written off. So those are miscellaneous expenses. They have to be reduced from this balance. And we have next accumulated losses. Accumulated losses, they are similar to accumulated profits. We include accumulated profits in reserve and surplus, right? The same way, if there are accumulated losses, we have to reduce accumulated losses from this balance. That is what is given here. So friends, equity is equal to equity share capital plus preference share capital plus reserve and surplus minus miscellaneous expenses minus accumulated losses. And I forgot to mention one more point. See friends, before this equity and liability side of balance sheet will show the sources of funds. For a company, the company will have different sources of funds. So equity and liability side will show the what are all sources of funds are there for a company, and asset side will reflect how these sources of funds or the funds that the company received is applied. So to put it in a short form, equity and liability side will show the sources of funds and asset side will show the application of funds. So one source of fund is equity. That is, from the owners we receive money. That is what is equity. Equity is owners' funds, because equity is what the company owes to the owners, or the fund that belongs to the owners. We call that as equity. Now we saw how to calculate equity, and we also saw the different components in equity. Equity has alternative names. So we will see what other alternative names are there for equity. So for equity, we can also call equity as net worth, owners funds, shareholders funds and proprietors funds. See, owners funds, shareholders funds and proprietors funds, it is obvious, does not require much of explanation. But why do we call equity as net worth? Just imagine friends, net worth is if I have a company and I want to find the worth of the company. What do? I usually measure and try to calculate how much assets are there with the company. So the assets will basically represent the worth of a company. So that assets minus, if I have some liabilities, I have to reduce the liabilities from the asset balance. That will give me the net worth, right? That is the net worth of a company. The same way, if you look at this, assets minus the liabilities, that is long term as well as current liabilities, will give what? It will give equity. That is why equity is also called as net worth. So one way of calculating equity is equity share capital plus preference share capital plus reserve and surplus minus miscellaneous expenses minus accumulated losses. The other way of calculating equity is you have to take the total assets minus long term debts and current liabilities. That will also give us the equity balance. Now we will move to the next component in balance sheet, that is the debt part. Under debt, okay, first we will understand what debts are. Debts are what the company owes to outsiders. It is the fund that the company has received from third parties, not the owners. So under debt we have components like debentures and long-term loans. Both of these items you will be knowing by now. Long-term loans will include anything like bank loans and long-term loans from financial institution and all of that. So debt is equal to debentures plus long-term loans. Another way of calculating debt will be total assets minus current liabilities minus equity. That way also you can calculate debt. So debts can also be called as borrowed funds and loan funds. These are the other names that we have for representing long-term debts or debts. Next we will move to the next component, that is current liabilities. Current liabilities are liabilities that the company have they are liabilities that the company has for a short term, something that has to be paid within a short span of time. It could include anything like creditors and then trade payables and also bank overdraft. All of those will come under current liabilities. So this is the equity and liabilities side. Now we will move on to the assets side. So asset side, first we have fixed assets. Fixed assets are those assets that are intended to be held by the company for a longer span of time, not short span of time. So those are fixed assets. Fixed assets include land, machinery, building, other factory premises, long-term investments. All of those will come under fixed assets. And then we have current assets. Current assets are assets that are intended to be held by the company for a shorter span of time. It could include assets like debtors and then bills receivables, then cash bank balances, inventories, stock piled up, all of those. So those will form part of current assets. And then what is the total assets of a company? Total assets are fixed assets plus current assets will give the total assets of a company. Now friends, one more thing that I have to tell you all is capital employed. So we will have to understand what capital employed is. I'll just tell you this with an example. See, for example, if I want to open or if I want to start a shop and I'm a sole proprietor, I want to start a shop for myself, then I will have to bring in some capital, right? It will be the fund that I have with me, something that I put into the shop for starting the shop. So for starting the shop, I will have to buy some machinery to convert raw material into finished product, and then I will have expenses for I will have to pay some expenses as rent for any premises that I've hired, and I will have to hire people for doing work for me. So for doing all of this I will need funds. So that fund I call as capital. For example, for starting my shop, if I put in an amount of rupees 1 lakh, then my capital will be 1 lakh. So that capital is called capital employed, or the capital that I have employed in my shop for starting the shop and running the shop. That is what is called capital employed. Same way, for a company, what is the capital employed by the company for running its business, for taking its business forward? That is what is called capital employed. So if you understand this better, we can tell that liability side shows the sources of funds, right? So a company might have sources of funds from equity. It must have received funds from owners in the name of equity, and it must have received funds from outsiders in the name of debt. So capital employed will be equal to equity plus debt. So capital employed, how do we calculate capital employed? Capital employed is equal to equity plus debt, because equity and debt represent the sources of funds for a company. So capital employed can also be called in other names. They are total funds. You can tell them as long-term funds and also investment. Capital employed can be calculated in another way also, friends. See, I already told you capital employed is nothing but equity plus debt. So if I have to calculate capital employed in an indirect way, that is from the asset side, it will be total assets minus current liabilities. If I take the balance of total assets and I less current liabilities from the total assets, I will get the balance as equity and debt, right? So that way also you can calculate capital employed. So this is the basic understanding that I wanted to share with you all, friends. So make sure that you're clear in this concept. Once you're clear in this concept, we can move on to solving and classifying ratios and solving problems based on ratios.